G2 to go for something like banning the Lee Sin, but we shall see. Mid lane is definitely going to rise in priority. Syndra not going to be available for perks this time around. Such a lane dominant champion.
Yeah, and then the last game SKT banned like all these hyper carries like Twitch against Sven, even though he really prefers things like Caitlyn above it most of the time, but we did just see a good performance from him.
I actually wonder, I'm a little bit surprised that G2 is pulling themselves on these support bans, because if Lee Sin is the first pick worthy champion, right, does that not leave you up to take the Karmas and Lulus for yourself? Or potentially those champions are still more viable, but it would allow you to trade up and take the Lee Sin away still.
Yeah, team seems to agree that Lulu is the #1 pick, so you don't want to leave her open on red side, because then that's a good first pick no matter what, but you can definitely trade like Lee Sin for Karma. One way or the other, either Lee Sin goes to SKT and G2 gets the Karma, or the other way around, but they stick to the exact same bans.
Does leave them the opportunity to take the Zyra away that Wolf had played and then later banned out. Maybe that's an option for them here. We'll see what kind of style they go for.
Yeah, Mithy really wants melee supports if he can get it. That's why banning Zyra was smart against WE from G2 Esports.
Ash Olaf.
Okay.
I like it. The long range initiation available from the bottom lane allows you to be more flexible with your other lane's picks. Olaf has definitely been the go-to pick here for Trick after the Graves and after the Ivern, but now he's actually going to it with those available.
Also, though, the Ashe takeaway, which is probably why he's going for Olaf, because they're not running like Caitlyn Ivern as we've seen before, but the Ashe is more or less a takeaway from the Ashe Zyra lane that SKT ran in the first game that G2 did kind of struggle against. They lost that early tower. So I think this is a takeaway, and then they adapt and say, okay, let's play more early mid-game than the scaling of Ivern Caitlyn.
Still interesting a bit to see the Olaf grab so early. They want to wait for the champs to be grabbed, and that's exactly why Misfortune's support gonna be the insta-lock. Ashe MF was the lane combo that almost took out SKT at Worlds last year. It was Rox Tigers who debuted the duo, and those are the two games that Rox won in that series. SKT now back in a major tournament best-of-5, and it's G2 Esports hoping that lane can win for them.
It's such a fun matchup to watch between the supports. Like, it's a skill matchup 100%. A lot of people like to take MF against Zyra, but you still have to execute that lane, and it's not easy. Yes, you can one-shot the plants very easily, but there's a lot of ways you can die as MF.
And now they have to decide between, you know, banning out this Viz that has been very flexible and is still flexible as far as both solo laners still being up, or actually, you know, taking out Orianna, which has been one of the most played champions actually for both of those mid laners.
Yeah, I like.
And there he is.
I think it's smart, as you said there, Kobe. Like, just get rid of it because it's so annoying to deal with. LeBlanc is well removed, so Orianna as a mid laner obviously going up in priority. Looking at all the mid lane bans. Galio is open, so is Fiora as the counter pick to it, and the Gangplank we obviously saw last game. So blind picking Galio is not that safe anymore. And suddenly things like Gragas might actually be a safer blind pick to go for, but there's still some risk involved.
Yeah, and I actually kind of like this idea, blind picking the Orianna. With Syndra already off the table, that's the most common counter pick here, and it still leaves Expect the opportunity to say, if you play tanks again, I'll just bring the Gangplank back, and this is the texture that G2 goes for.
Possible haste here for Olaf as well. Orianna definitely more dynamic than a lot of the other mid laners, shoring up some of the team fight for this squad. Whenever you do lock in the Ashe MF as well, you have to worry about 100%ing something like Zyra. It's not just, oh yeah, killing plants early and having that extra move speed, but the double level 6 is a huge, huge threat.
Lucian's still up. Nah, he's not gonna go for it. Lucian had been good on Orianna, and G2 had kept banning it away the entire series. I was like, what if he goes for it? Ahri back in, though.
Ahri again. So once again, this is a matchup Perkz likes to play. Syndra Orianna against Ahri, both of them are just fine for him, because early on, Orianna has a lot of control in this lane as well. Blind pick top for SKT. Now, I would personally love a tank that can hard engage on the side of G2 Esports, because they have Olaf running in, MF ulti, Ashe arrow, and you have someone then you can put the ball onto that's not just the Olaf, who's obviously diving against that one squishy. And if you get some more hard engage here, then it's really easy to reach the backline of SKT.
You know what else is really easy to reach the backline is with the equalizer from Rumble, though. Not Ashe, MF, and Orianna, none of them have any sort of dashes built into their kits, so Huni, with good placement, could get a lot of value there.
I like the Galio here as well, just because his ulti adds to the hard engage of G2, which of course is now the Olaf running in. and then the CC comes from the Galio ulti. So combining the two champions, then you get sort of hard engaged from them, and they can put the ball on Trick.
And that's what we were talking about with the early Ashe pick, adding some more flexibility. Ashe can hold them in place with an arrow that does hit for the Olaf to actually walk in there, not necessarily instantly get the Galio into place.
It's going to be a fun one to watch for. G2 certainly have a great team fighting comp. SKT, very strong bot lane duo, as it's been called before, a skill match that'll be fun one to watch for. But now Huni is back on his most played champion of the year in the Rumble, back on a carry style, and SKT say, all right, Huni, it's time for you to bring it home for us.
And I like the pick potential on both sides as well. Simply meaning whenever someone is out of position in this game, you're expecting an engage to happen. Like Ari Lee Sin, it is very difficult to get away from champions with that much mobility. And then of course on the other side, a ghosting Olaf, Ashe arrow, everything flying at you. So this should be a super action-packed game with a lot of fights.
Exactly. This is actually a 5-threat team comp from SK Telecom, something we have seen them snowball very, very effectively. So you have to be super cautious in that early game where G2 have actually been the ones to shine so far in this series.
We'll see if G2 can keep shining a bit brighter now. Only squishies and no real defensive tools left over now on SK Telecom T1. Any one of those champions are reasonable Ashe arrow targets, none of them huge tanks here, and we'll see if they can make that one happen. Lineups and champions on your screen one final time as we head into game 3 of this best of 5, tied up 1-1. And we'll see who can take the lead in this series now. G2 have had great early games, and they've closed out one of the two so far.
And I really like that point with the Ashe arrow against all the squishy members, because Zyra is support where it's kind of awkward for you to build Mikhails. So you don't actually get any cleanse unless you go QSS in a game like this for SKT. So if Sven is on point with these arrows, that should be a way for G2 to force a ton of engages and actually get kills from it. Because no one from SKT, outside of that QSS, can actually get out of the arrow.
Have to dodge them, and there is no haste, there is no karma, there is no Lulu for the team to assist with the dodging. Wolf trying to get those seeds down, by the way, moving in to take out that lane presence.
I like how smart he was, just walking up to full vision range of that front rush. If an Olaf throws an axe from max range and hits you, you're probably dead even if you flash. So he played with the right amount of respect, and he's all right with this.
And this is what we saw during Worlds all the time. The bot lanes would fight each other level 1, because you don't want to let Zyra step towards the middle of the lane and plant the seeds for the early push. So mid is doing exactly what he needs to do here. Very defensive position from Wolf, and he doesn't get early advantage on the minion push.
Trick did debut. You see that 2-0 record is entirely from that semifinal versus WE. He hadn't played it before in this tournament. And I remember seeing some people ask, will SKT let him pick it and just try to beat him up? And we'll see if that can happen here. Peanut had been the best jungler this tournament, but Trick has definitely performed better than him in at least these early games.
And I think that the early pushing of the lane is actually very important as well. Olaf definitely likes to get very low in his jungle clear for extra speed. And Lee Sin and Peanut especially is a guy that really likes to invade early and would be someone that you would point to actually punish that style and look for early kills.
Of course, Olaf is a faster jungler, about 6 to 7 second head start based on killing the Raptors earlier. We'll see if he can keep that pressure on.
He is also definitely going to need to pick up his blue buff. Olaf will have to transition over to that side very quickly here. 2 camps and he'll run pretty close to dry.
There's a chance if Peanut goes from red buff to invading the blue, he'd find a low health Olaf. That will not be the case. Peanut will stay on his side of the map.
Peanut not going for early invades in any of the games we've seen so far, and playing it safe in the early game. The last game he played Lee Sin on, the first game, he farmed for like basically 10-15 minutes while his mid lane was dying.
Yeah, which is surprising because, in the group stage, we saw even the next evolution of early invades, right? If you go to GGOP and you watch Peanut's solo queue games, he's always invading level 3, looking to kill the enemy jungler. In the competitive scene, though, he invades, with the team on the same page, looking to cut off the enemy jungler's options, funnel them into an area of the map, but they have not done that here, and Trick has actually run rampant.
Yeah, they have not been able to pair up Peanut and Faker for these invades, because Faker has been behind in every single lane early on. We talked about this in Champs, like Orianna in this matchup, she gets to push early against Ari. Like Ari needs level 6 before she's really a threat, so Perkz can keep Faker under control.
Another good trade there from him as well, getting the Thunderlord's proc.
And you guys can see how Perks is staying towards the bottom side because that's where his jungler is positioned. So if a gank should happen from Peanut, Trick is in position to counter gank.
And as well, Peanut is covering for the Rumble. The permanent pushing in that matchup gets the Scuttle Crab hovering on that side for his pushing top laner.
And this play by Trick, I believe, is simply intuitive of inferring exactly what Peanut is up to and watching his patterns from before. He's often a unpredictable jungler, but in this case, is able to, without wards at all, just take Krugs away, knowing Lisa didn't go for this kind of invade here. Perks really pushing Faker to the limit. But here's Huni on the roam, down to the mid lane of the map. Not going to find much. Quick trade on the bot side. Ghost already popped by Trick means the flash forced out of Wolf.
Wolf didn't want to get chunked down and force the early recall, so just used the flash instead. Now Perks needs to be careful because his jungler just showed.
Yeah, but so did Lee Sin on this ward right here. So Perks can he dodge the skill shot. Nice board hop forward, lands it slow. Can he get away from the Q? Yes, great juke by Perks. Gets away from Peanut.
Yeah, he has the confidence. He doesn't have to flash. You know, he still has the barrier there as well. Expect did use teleport, but a very good outplay from Perks.
And not the first time he's done this against Peanut. In the group stages, we saw Peanut gank on Olaf. You know, the axes were just dodged left and right by Perks here. Very good with the quick movements here on the very low ping. And Expect will go back to top lane, so the fact he lost TP will hurt him a bit in the lane.
Yeah, Peanut still got value out of that gank, even though it was good dancing moves there from Perks. As top lane, you have to worry about Huni teleport advantage now.
It's actually a TP-less Expect, which makes it maybe a gank potential. Not going to happen just yet. Trick once again showing in mid, and Peanut says, okay, now I can go ahead and grab these Krugs and steal them away from you.
Yeah, we have to remember the damage reduction on Galio here makes it kind of tricky to dive him early. Also with no ulti from Huni, he's only level 5. It seems like they're just taking the camp instead. And Expect now needs to be careful because he doesn't know where the jungler is. Pushing up.
So far in this match, it's been Expect trading with Huni pretty closely.
He's getting baited. He's just getting baited.
100%.
Huni, here comes Peanut down 100 HP, but Expect might not have the damage. One more pass drive, but it gets shielded off anyway. Does flash away the Sonic Wave, and he might be able to run away, but Huni's gonna have a slow soon. The flash, trying to get away with it. One more hit, can't make it happen. First blood, finally, vengeance for SKT.
So good right there. Huni fully expecting him to look for the first blood kill, going offensive. They bait him in and then flash it so they get the first blood.
So close in the end though for Expect. Oh my god, the bait, the setup, and then the turnaround. 3 flashes were used at the same time.
Yeah.
But the farm has been so good for G2. Despite a first blood, the gold is still equal because of laning phase prowess. Faker now in a battle with the jungler. We'll watch that in a second because he's got a replay.
No one died, no one died.
Just yet. It's okay, they did get away with it.
All right, so immediately as soon as Expect goes in for this very big trade, Peanut heads right back up the river. Huni still took a lot of damage though here, so they're expecting him to go for the first blood play. You can see Huni continually sidestepping back there. And even with that, almost gets taken down by the Winds of War.
Yeah, Peanut flashed in there to block in case Expect was trying to dash towards his own tower.
Yeah.
Huni obviously flashed to avoid taking the damage and actually dying.
Very close one, and even crucially more, you talk about it. That was already after Expect's first TP. He was actually up items in that fight and still got taken down, so I had to take the slow walk back to lane. Huni gets a nice full recall with an entire Haunting guys now in inventory. That's going to feel real good for the Rumble.
First time SKT gets a bit of an early advantage with a kill up top lane right now. Faker is still struggling in the matchup. He said it in Champ Select. The last second login on Ahri. I don't know if that was more of a panic login than anything, but they had to just go for something in the end.
It's a matchup that Faker played before, and Perks was up something like 18 minions in the first 10 minutes, but then by 15, Faker had flipped it and gotten an advantage back. So it might happen the exact same way, where Faker just needs to hit 10 minutes into the game, and he'll turn it back around, but it's the same early advantage that Perks had against him in the group stage. Nice chunk.
All right, now we still have to return to the river control as well. Trick now, level 6, has Ghost available, and all the action in the top side. Like you said, Deficio, 3 flashes were blown at once. That is a playing ground for Olaf, level 6, with Ghost available, so Huni has to be much more careful up here.
Yeah, so Perks can look top lane, or Perks can look bottom lane, because that's where the level 6 from Ashe is coming in. Now, if you guys remember, during Worlds, Ashe would hit level 6, shoot an arrow against the Zyra. Zyra would have to flash it, and then you would go down and return gank once the arrow was ready. Wolf's flash is still on cooldown.
40 seconds.
Sven just hit level 6. That is a an opening for G2, but Trick is showing top.
Exactly. Onto a ward though, so this is one of those scouting moves here where Trick a lot of lane ganks in their series versus Team WE. It looks like SKT are setting up a counter of their own, but not going to be taken here.
They saw the ward crux and they realized if he knows what's going on and he's still pushing, Peanut must be waiting in the wings there.
Like you said down bottom though, the combination of those ultimates is very potent. The Misfortune ulting as soon as the Ash Arrow is fired against someone who doesn't have flash can take out 80% of a Zyra's health.
Yeah, that's why I really want to see Trick be on that bottom side. Like the call should come in, we're hitting level 6, like in about 20 seconds time, like you should be on the bottom side now. We can go for this kill. Even on the tower, they can go for it. But obviously Trick also saying, I need to protect my top laner. He doesn't have a flash.
And sometimes it can even be a mind game of everyone expects me to gank this bot lane and wait in the brush. Queenie would never see this one coming. It's a stretch, but sometimes it happens.
Like I said before, you know, it's kind of a playing ground up in the top side with all 3 of those flashes blown, and Trick did want to take advantage there, but seeing that ward expire, the game is up. He's going to have to return to the other bottom side of the map.
G2 winning farm mid and bot lane. Sven Mithy playing their matchup extremely well. All started with him stopping that early push level 1. Now Faker is spotted on this ward here. Trick is on his way.
Bit of movement speed running away for this one. Perks gonna look for the shockwave, the trade of ultimates. Faker with the blue makes it a pretty short cooldown though, coming back forward and not gonna take any damage for this one. Arrow's gonna land though, forcing the flash out, and that is, as you predicted, the ult for flash. Number 1.
Now once this ult is ready again from Sven, let's see, 84 seconds. Well, then you have a very easy engage bot lane against the no flash Zyra. You know the spot on a ward, and you will see him on the blast cone as well once he shoots it over due to the ward.
And look at Trick, he's waiting in the brush. He's waiting for the counter gank here in the mid lane. Perks though.
Good equalizer. Perks does have the ability to flash away, but a perfect charm flash from Faker. He is angry from the earlier lanes and gets a kill.
I love the mind games that go into this. Perks wants to dodge onto the equalizer because you would not expect that. But Faker goes the next level and thinks that Perks is going to fake him out with the dodge onto the damaging ultimate. Lands the flash taunt right there. Really nice charm.
Yeah, to add on to that, also Perks saying, I'm going to save my flash until your charm is flying in the air. And Faker's like, yeah, we're not even going to see my charm because I'm just going to charm flash you. Such a nice play from Faker, getting some revenge here, and important he gets a kill. Look at it, so Perks here wants to see the charm first, but no reaction time when you can charm flash. Charge up the charm animation and then flash right after.
And the slow from equalizer so much, even though he did juke in an unorthodox way, he didn't clear enough distance regardless, so proper margins by Faker that almost no juke outside of flash could have dodged it. This is now a 700 gold lead for SK Telecom T1, the first good early game they've had so far this series. Sven has Arrow back up and bang, may try to tank it for his teammate.
Also, there are multiple deep wards available for early teleports if G2 really wanted, you know, to blow this game open with a 5-man bottom lane party. Looks like we have a recall from Sven though, so party will be delayed.
They got time, they got time.
Warding as a team, exactly. They've got several minutes for this one, so the wards will try to make sure that Peanut's not around when they do pull the trigger.
They definitely want to make it happen, though. They're setting all the preparation here. Deep wards, control wards actually being cleared out as well.
But they're down here too early because Sven just recalled. They're not actually in a rush. They could have placed the ward, walked out of the jungle once again, and then look for the play with Sven. Now they already showed on the bottom side.
Yeah, Trick does show himself. Red is responding fairly soon here, though, and might just move right back up for it.
The play early, flash forced out, still waiting for the charm. Finally, Perks does juke it. Faker tried to predict it, but still properly done there. And Trick will try to steal some Raptors away, but be careful because Peanut and Faker are back in the mix here.
Yeah, he just lost mid lane control.
Kick back in, smites away one of the Raptors at the very least, but Peanut does force the ulti out. Here comes the teleport in. Here's the snipe in. Wolf's going to get the double knock, and this is going to be an absolute slaughter. Mithy's got no way out. SKT wiping the floor with G2, and Perks is up next. The flash Q to follow. The shockwave won't buy enough time. 3 quick kills for SKT.
Huge mistake to call for that invade. Whoever made that call made a very big blunder. Perks was just forced out of mid lane, had his flash blown, so there was a much easier route for a collapse from SKT.
Oh, Sven stopped recall. He was completing it, and I don't know if Bang is the reason he stopped or not, but now getting a bit more damage to this one, and Sven has to chase forward because their turrets, maybe keeping the rest of the team away is not going to matter. Quick kill picked up. Peanut now 2-0-2.
And it happens so quickly when you make a wrong call against SKT. Everyone just went down except for Expect, who's back up in his top lane, and he's just trying to get some farm while his team is dying.
That's a big blunder, and multiple members committed to that invade and committed to trying to salvage that invade after they had seen, oh, you know, this was a very poor call. Here we go, though. Trick does not ultimate on Olaf early, which is something you can do to avoid that kickback, and he actually chases in during the ultimate timer here, so Wolf already in place gets to land a very easy lockup out of that brush.
Yeah, and the wards played earlier by G2, while we see Perk's office go down here against Peanut. Those wards were placed pretty deep into the jungle. They didn't actually see the entrance where Wolf just walked from bot lane up behind them and then caught them with the snare and the ulti. Huge play from SKT, and that opening in the bottom lane with no flash on Zyra. They walked down there too early while Sven was back in base, and then they re-enter the jungle when Perk's is not ready to fight. Definitely some miscommunication, mis-synergy right there from G2, and they get punished for it.
Crucial timings have been missed here in the last few minutes for G2. They do get back out onto the field to grab the dragon, but mid lane under pressure.
To play no angle on a charm shot. We're going to pull in Wolf for a bit of damage. Here comes Trick. That's going to be a dead support, and the dive is more than they needed. They didn't have the wards to track for Trick.
They're over-diving Perks here. Really good evade right there, and he sucks in Wolf, able to get the counter kill at least, salvaging something here for G2, even though SKT's still on the warpath.
Definitely are. We'll see if more can be grabbed right now. Red buff still definitely quite nice to be had. G2 only with 1 kill, 2,000 gold down, only a cloud drink to their name. And that ward sees that Trick is running into this side of the map.
He's towards bottom lane now once again. Sven is there with his ulti. They want to get some pressure on this tower.
A lot of damage. They might get first turret, actually. Mid lane seems healthy enough, and Rumble's not the king of pushing.
It's good they at least get it now. They would have loved to get this one much earlier with the advantage they did have on the bottom side, but they will at least get the tower. Trick just here for support.
All right, and that's actually pretty important. G2, who are down 5 kills, able to get both of the global objectives so far, but now maybe a dive towards Expect. W back on cooldown.
Yep, Faker is coming as well. They definitely want to make this work.
Here comes the play. He's going to flash the charm. A bit of damage towards Huni. Will survive the turret shot, though, and the kill comes through. Even the assist towards Faker.
No one can help poor Expect up in that top lane. He's been left alone quite a few times.
Well, they make a power play with 3 members on the bottom side. They know top side is their weak side, and Faker, there's no vision on him, so they're unable to really do anything there and definitely overstay.
Yeah, very often you want to see your top laner actually just leave the lane when a play like this is happening in the bottom lane, but it's also so risky as a top laner to do that, because if you might lose out on 1 or 2 waves of experience, and then you start falling behind like that, and it's a tricky situation as the one guy who's stuck up there while his team is busy on the other side.
Take another look here as they started off with the slow from Huni. Faker's able to come in, and they've already gotten the flash out. Plenty of extra ultimates for SKT to use there, as they had all 3 people available.
Yeah, I understand that Expect wants to try and get the big outplay and maybe get someone low enough so Perks can walk up and kill them, but oftentimes just save the flash. Like, just accept that now you got your farm, you're gonna get killed, they can't take the tower, and have that flash ready for the next fight. Now that's gone as well, and he's another target.
Exactly. The Galio taunt flash is a big part of really bringing the team fight together for G2 if they're going to be able to pull this one off. Because remember, that's kind of one of their advantages, is if they can all group up to the 5-on-5, they have a decent amount of crowd control to work with against this SKT lineup that is very offensive.
Of course, the ult out of Faker, the ult roll not the worst, bit of a slow zone. Shockwave lands into a couple, good damage out of Faker, down to 500 HP. Turret still taking shots. Mark's going to put the attacks in, not going to fall just yet, though.
Yeah, big misplay there. Faker takes a huge chunk in health, but the whole time they defend this mid turret. Bang is pushing, gets him alone time with the turret on top side.
Depends how greedy he is, because G2 are rotating up. The Ashe MF can get some damage. Blue trinket for Bang buys some time.
Oh, he wants it.
He's going to maybe lose his life for it, though. He's got Zyra coming around, and actually G2 won't go for the kill.
Yeah, exactly. The Romir, Peanut, and Wolf just matching what we see from G2, so they were there for a fight. TP as well for Huni, so Bang feeling confident he can take the tower, and he gets it as well, so more gold now for SKT.
Yeah, cool, calm, just lines up 3 traps to cut off that avenue into the lane, and he's able to take the global objective here. Local gold all going to Bang as well, so he can further fund this Infinity Edge crit build. He's going for the extra multipliers now for Caitlyn to really get past that mid-game lull.
Yeah, and Faker's also right back in the game because he got these 2 kills on Ari. He was down in farm, but once you pick up a few kills, you get quickly towards your 2-item spike. Especially Luden's Echo is great to have for more burst when you do jump in as Ari here, and building towards it at the moment. Have to respect his damage.
Next up on this one, Faker. Just waving in the mid lane, feels pretty safe. There's no hard CC in his face just yet right here. Mid lane outer still incredibly low. G2 can knock that one down if they can push Faker out of lane, but it's SKT still. Sitting 2,500 gold up, and Peanut.
It's a trap.
Got an ash in his eyes. That's a flash force out of mid B. Revenge from earlier, and looks like Faker's gonna be okay with this one. Sven gets away from Peanut. With the Rift Herald buff, he's still very scary, and Sven not really allowed to defend this. And you can see backing off the wave, and it says, no, we can see Peanut. He's got to leave now as well with the Blast Clone. Sure, it will stay alive for now.
But look at mid lane. Huni is around that lane with ulti available. SKT constantly looking for some fights.
Yeah, G2 already rotating down to the Drake, though, and they do have a decent amount of vision control in this river. Setting themselves up. Teleport's available for both top laners. Ash Arrow is also available, so, you know, they have the tools to pull off a 5-man team fight if they can draw SKT into an area where they can actually land these abilities.
And we said earlier, no one from SKT can get out of that arrow. Mikhail's is not exactly an item you rush on Zyra. If you can avoid a QSS, the same. You will obviously go for it later if you're banked, and possibly for Faker if he feels confident, or if he doesn't feel confident, but I guess he's going to skip it and just say, I can use an ulti charge to get out the arrow.
They do all have flashes available for the incoming team fight, and might have to blow one of those early on it.
Here we go, neutrals are alive. Baron and Drake together. G2 going to be able to get control over the Scuttle Crab on the south side, important to have. It's going to be much harder to sneak away, but SKT do have a Trinket Ward inside that Drake pit as well, so likewise G2 can't steal anything sneakily. Still playing the wave clear game. Faker second to the party after Perk's already shoved in mid.
And because of all the farm on G2's side, then they're only 2k down at this point, despite it being 7-1 in kills. So the next fight here is still very open. And G2, if they can get off a proper combo with the Shockwave, and of course with his ulti and MF, then that's a ton of damage this early in the game.
Bang over, SKT got a few seconds. They're going to go back to the Drake pit and not get a lot.
Yeah, Perk's actually going for the single-man health advantage there with the Shockwave, so they don't have the combo if the fight starts out very quickly here. But he got a decent chunk onto Faker, who's had to rotate down bottom and healed off that minion wave.
Perks is also sitting on over 2,000 gold at the moment, so he's actually not ready to fight.
I mean, he's also out of mana, so...
He's definitely not ready to fight. And Dragon is alive, so it's a bit of a mistake. He hasn't actually gone back to base. If G2 were looking to contest the Drake, because now they have to just call it off and say, we can't actually fight this. Our mid laner has to go back.
Right now, G2, all they're able to do is just take the waves on their side of the map. The Ash MF in the bot lane just last hitting under their turret. Even the Galio didn't get a lot done. He shoved one wave and went back to his jungle. So SKT, with some good control of the mid lane wave and getting Perks out of mana, takes him out and Drake uncontested.
Yeah, and I think that G2 do have to be cautious at this point. SKT have a pretty sizable gold lead, so they need some really advantageous terrain to kind of help them out in this team fight and be able to land these abilities, like you said. You know, the possibility of that arrow missing would really be devastating for these guys because they really need to layer these abilities. As you said, combo Deficio.
Yeah, just will not really get much easier for G2 to fight either. Like Caitlyn right now in the mid game when she hasn't completed multiple attack speed items, that's kind of where you want to fight against her. And when you have this combo and the base damage of an MF ulti, well, you have to kind of use that early on in the game for it to really have insane impact.
They are definitely not looking to fight. Another ultimate here. This ultimate used 4 wave clear. So G2 still looking to stall.
You see the pressure they're under. Single-man Shockwave felt like the right choice for Perks. Shockwaving a cannon and a catch committee together felt like the right Shockwave for Perks. He's definitely not finding kills for himself now. G2 just hoping to weather the storm a bit longer. Maybe waiting for the Hurricane to finish for his Sven, who stopped by Hex Drinker. He's so afraid of the damage as well.
Like, try and get 2 items on everyone. They've completed now also on Perks. Mithy, he would love to get level 11, but it's hard as a support to get enough experience to get that fast enough. They did defend that mid tower, which of course is important, and the cooldown on Shockwave is not that long. With all the cooldown reduction on Perks, it's almost up again.
Bottom lane quickly falls though, and Huni with this rumble Equalizer definitely available. Lots of magic penetration on him. The backline squishy members that we mentioned, you know, Perks, Sven, and Mithy, no escapes to their name. So if they are without flash, then it'll be difficult for them to avoid that equalizer.
Let's see what they can get. Baker looking for the play, flashes for, lands the charm, Perks knocked up as well, the damage should be there. Shockwave is a complete airball, and SKT make it 8-1.
And that all started with Wolf hiding in that little brush here near the mid lane, and he caught Perks with the root, and then instant reaction from Faker to get the kills, and now this mid tower is going down.
Yeah, G2 have to be so careful at the moment. They cannot afford to fight without Perks. They have to seed objectives.
This is what we see so often. When you lose that mid game and you lose the mid lane all of a sudden, that was a flash by Huni to dodge the arrow, so that's one gone. But when you lose that mid lane, river control, it's gone. You can't see anything in the brushes. You can't really move around your lane. Because there's things like a Zyra root, a simple thing, can just cost everything.
Look at the damage I put on the Sven. That was just for poke. They weren't even trying to all in that one, and he's down below a half HP. So we'll have to back up, but life is getting hard for G2.
Yeah, while SKT absorb pressure in the mid lane, they push on top side. And again, Bang is getting a pretty good lead here. Lots of farm funneled into him with traps, and Peanut as the scout for him gets it all the way into the turret.
SKT definitely playing a very smart yet relentless mid game. No real openings to kill them. It's just been steady pressure, steady advantages. And here comes the attempt on a close one on Sven. Did get to use the heal to get away, but ult for heal sounds good for Faker.
Yeah, Faker knew he could go in for that trade to try and force a summoner because the Ash arrow was down. No threat of getting arrowed under the turret. Really like how it'll take any opportunity, tracking those cooldowns, to be able to exploit you and get another out of you.
So remember again now, this is the route from before. This is what I talk about, like, you don't have any vision around the lane in the river, so you can't really move around. It's so hard to play against.
Yeah, and you can tell, you know, he's moves the ball up to get vision. However, he's already in place in range for the snare to land, so he knew what he needed to do, and he knew he had to be cautious there, but already into position, and Wolf able to land the snare.
And we talked about the G2 combo in terms of how they can start fights as well, like Ash arrow flies in, then Olaf with Ghost, and of course the Galio ults onto the Olaf to get into that backline of SKT. It's so hard for them to find that engage with Sven because of the flashes you talked about earlier, Kobe. And the fact that SKT just have the map control. Like, you're not really shooting an arrow from out of vision if you're Sven. You're always sitting in mid lane near minions.
Exactly. I think that we do need, again, toggle vision, fog of war from G2's perspective, because SKT have so many picks. Uh-oh, Trick actually going in now.
A little slow on a bang, a stun on Faker as well. Will they have the follow through with Orianna? They're going to try with the Shockwave. Meanwhile, the rest of the team getting away. Perk's going to survive, and there's a shutdown coming through for Sven. Curtis even flash.
Oh, greedy Faker.
And Huni on the wrong side.
D2 on the offensive, chasing down Huni now.
He's got no way out. He can go for some damage. Can he pick one off with him? A quick shot towards Perks. A double root comes in. Doesn't mean much. 2 for 0. Solo winners are dead. Still more of a fight. SKT looking to put down as much damage as they can. And they are able to clear the minion wave away. Just the 2 for 0. Nothing else picked up for G2.
Faker gets caught. No summoners. And he actually ults back into Perks to try and get this kill. Taken down. Huni actually maybe a little bit baited in by that call to actually turn this around. And SKT now are the ones giving over kills to G2 with the 5-man.
That was the best G2 could have hoped for. We just talked about how hard it is for them to actually start the fight. Like, Faker obviously with this Ahri could have dodged that ulti so easily, but he didn't. He failed to do it, and then he goes on the aggressive right after.
Yeah. He has really not been backing down from fights, even.
He's angry.
Exactly. Faker's definitely angry.
Definitely is angry 3-0, but the Vessel Scepter, the tank stats for Perks was enough to survive the refight. This game right now, though, still 4,000 apart. G2 have their work cut out for them to catch back up. SKT in control.
And to make it even better for G2, Wolf tried to flash for a re-engage. Bang had to flash away from the Olaf. So now you have your opening for a few minutes where you can hit some of these targets with the arrow from Sven, but they cannot hesitate. This is your way back in the game for G2 Esports. These next minutes will be so crucial for them.
Exactly. The hope for G2 is to try and prey on these mistakes. These openings you talked about, Freak, where SKT actually have to worry about making mistakes against G2.
They haven't made very many in this game right now. It's been SKT pretty much from minute 1, a couple of ganks early on, and Peanut has set these lanes off well. We'll see if G2 can find anything in themselves, but after Peanut still that Cloud Drake, there's not a lot to fight for G2 as the Fighters come back from cooldown.
Oh, but they're setting up around Baron and the enemy jungle to try and catch someone when they walk around blind. Peanut is going for that blue buff.
He's been found out here. Old Popsicle can't be kicked away. They're going to reveal him with Ashe and looking for a bit more damage. That stun is going to guarantee his demise. A shutdown comes through for Perks.
Ashe Arrow, Shockwave, and Olaf Ultimate have been used by G2, and now it's up to SKT to try and trade something in a disadvantageous lane setup here. Now they're pushing in mid lane. Good turret there for G2 off the back of it.
Mid lane tier 2 under fire, though. It's actually SKT still pushing in for that one with the rest of their team.
They're on their way back to defend, though. G2 did not have any control wards on them to then clear out the Baron pit and actually start the Baron, despite killing Peanut. That's why they have to go back to base. Get some wards now. You can see 2 on Mithy, 1 on Sven. They have to return to the Summoner's Rim, push the minions back, and then look for another pick before they can go Baron. Missed opportunity due to no control wards, but that's the kind of situation where you can't blame them for it.
Look at that sea of plants right there. Wolf's Garden finds a bit of time as well, but now Sven wants in onto Huni. Does have flash. Can he get away? Equalizer pops for a bit of time. Can he get the flash follow? Yes, he does. The taunt is on for max duration. Huni pops the Zonias, but he's got no way out of this one. The kill's going to be grabbed, and I wonder why he even saves the 2-minute cooldown, or maybe he should have. Another kill in the side lane. G2 clawing back into this one, only down 3,000.
3 victories in a row for G2 as they try to get back into this game. SKT, again, always looking for a counter, but it's so dangerous to shove up into the mid lane.
And just like that, trick down a half HP as Faker wants in the follow through for Peanut. No, the ulti prevents the kick from doing anything. Able to survive, but ignites the kill. He's gonna fall down. Mithy wants the trade, finds nothing for it. No damage on a Faker. The flash does not at all. The shockwave to miss with a stun on a Faker. That should be enough for the kill, and Perks gets it. And there's not a lot of follow-up damage anymore. They're waiting to knock down Perks. There's Peanut. He gets it picked up. Now for Mithy, but Exxon's gonna trade his life for it. Maybe Peanut shouldn't quite go. Looks for Mithy, can't get the kill. The minions won't get it either. The heal comes through, and G2 stay alive.
Oh, it is getting bloody, boys. SKT diving turrets here, and G2 come out.
Oh! The shot came in just in time.
Remember, Huni was already dead, and SKT with 4 members pushed up to this tower here, lacking flashes and everything, and they still managed to pick up kills.
Peanut goes in very deep to dive Trick, but then Trick walks back into range for Faker to finish the kill. What is going on?
It's great for G2 that they're getting kills when behind, but right there they could have gotten so much more. They didn't have to lose their jungler, and then also Mithy using everything, barely hitting anyone after that kill here. Let's see it again. So Trick, this is fine for now. He pops the ulti, and he can run away. This is still good for G2 because it's only 4 members from SKT, and the arrow is ready, but he goes back in and dies.
Yeah, he walks back in. Faker's able to get off his second spear rush there with the ignite to get the kill. Mithy flashes for us, as you said, then Perks goes for it, uses his ultimate, but the arrow from Sven does land onto Faker, which allows G2 to take him out crucially. Peanut then overextends a bit after his kill, and Sven comes down the mid lane with his heal just barely saving Mithy for a while. Then I want to see this as he rushes towards the pink ward. Mithy's running towards that true sight vision, but Bang with the instant blue trinket and ultimate. Very nicely done.
And that big window where we talked about G2 trying to get back in the game. They got some kills, but they're still 4K down. And here, this last fight was actually good for SKT because now their flashes are back up and they have not lost Baron. That's the key thing. G2 had an opening to try and go and force a fight around it, force some kills, and they didn't manage to do it.
And keep in mind, stealing a Baron is very hard for G2. Trick cannot get over the wall without a blast code, and one's not alive right now. It's a Ghost Olaf, so it's not a 50-50, it's an 80-20, even if all 10 players are alive. SKT pulled the cards in this equation here. See if they can make those Baron baits happen.
Huni pushing up on the bottom lane. First step for SKT always is pushing out these side lanes. You can see it on the mini-map. They've got both of them, and now both solo laners are coming towards the mid lane. There's the flash!
Wolf with a giant knock. It's gonna find 3 with the ultimate. Equalizer on top, and Perks is down. 1 for 0 with no shockwave. A trade only on a support, and Sven not gonna make it much longer as well. The chase is in. Look at the beautiful plays out of Faker, crushing the backline by himself. Applause all around. and expect the only one alive is gonna live a while, but SKT can push up the mid.
And you can see it on the mini-map. A light bulb goes off in your head as soon as Huni and Faker show themselves pushing up the side lanes, get past the river, you have to worry about the collapse. SKT, Wolf flashes it.
Yes!
10 out of 10 in all aspects and gets the snare.
G2 thought they could step back, see that flank coming and then react to it, but they did not expect the flash Zyra engage.
Wolf
Expected
comes
so that
from Raptors. From the Raptors.
At the very end of it all, mid lane inhibitor turret was dead, and SKT take the right amount of precaution. The inhibitor they don't need. It's the Baron secure they do want, and that's going to be no contest at all. A 10,000 gold lead with 5 Baron buffs for SKT.
They survived the minutes without flash. Then as soon as they had flashes ready, they were looking for that one fight, and the massive engage from Wolves surprised G2 and won that fight for SKT. Look at this again. They think we're spotting the guys coming from the side, but this engage is insane.
God. Wolf gets all 3 members, both of the primary carries absolutely annihilated before Faker even gets there. Huni had a great equalizer on top of the lines there. That was just beautiful to see from SKT, and you could see the formulation of the play ahead of time.
Pretty insane charm flash as well from Faker. Bang, forced the flash.
A small victory, but there's still so much space in the map for SKT to work with. That flash likely unneeded. As they grab balance break number 2, next one will be Elder. A nice stun on a Faker, but Minty, charm means he's dead. The kill picked up, even without Peanut part of the fight. Expecting the front lines, but he can't really zone out much. SKT able to keep pushing.
And there's no reason to stop. A Baron buff and Nexus in their sights.
That's going to be turret number 1. Turret number 2 next up as well. G2 hoping to turn it back around somewhere.
There's no minions right now, buying enough time for G2 to try and land some poke, and they have the fountain to go back to and heal.
Going to mean they pause as SKT comes through this wave. We'll see if they come back for more, but it looks like, yes, as Huni and Wolf grab the wave and come back in mid, they're going to close the game out right now.
Here they go. Next line of super Baroned up minions coming in. Speckaton.
Look at the damage I put on this opposing tank. Expect nearly dead. Forced to run away. The flash kick on Sven. Next up, one more shot. I'll do it. Shockwave gonna miss, and Faker's in the back line already. He's killed off the carries. The turrets are dead. And SKT gonna close out game 3, and they will be 1 win away from maintaining their crown. G2 trying to stop, but it's not gonna happen. The minions will close it out. Wolf with the last hit. 2-1 SKT.
I cannot get over how insane that initiation from a Wolf was. What a huge play from the support.
And we got to see SKT in the early game not fall so far behind like we saw in the previous games. They were actually able to get the advantage, kind of control G2 as well. And G2's composition just had like very clear windows it had to abuse to get back in this game. And they had an opening. They got a few kills for it, but